What other things do you think that we haven't talked about yet do you think are really important for junior developers in their development of their development?
In their
Wait,
growth.
Yeah, that.
Can you repeat the question?
What else is important for junior developers as they're growing?
Oh, one thing that I think is really important is don't be afraid to fail. That's not really like a thing that we talk about, but I didn't realize that I had this fear of failure. And so possibly I'm not working on building projects because I think I'm not going to be able to make it work. Maybe that's why. I'm not sure. But I'm finding that I might not tackle on certain things because it's inhibiting me from, I guess my brain is inhibiting me from thinking that I could be successful at something. And I think it's holding me back from excelling as much as I possibly can. And also, this kind of ties back into pair programming, but I've developed this mindset of like, I'm not going to be scared to drive. Like I might be pairing with someone much more experienced than me. And so they could probably do the thing that we're pairing on together in like 2 minutes. And it'll take us an hour if I start typing. But you really develop so many, here's that vision to words thing that
I feel you. I've been there.
It's like developing different types of muscles, I guess. Like you're being able to speak to what you're doing. I find that I'm not able to do that. And I think flashcards potentially could help with that. Like if I were, there's this talk at RailsConf, it was the game show. And it was like, there would be a word that you have to guess what the word is. And then there's these words that you can't say to define this word that this other person is supposed to guess. I don't know if it's like categories or taboo or something like that.
Taboo.
And I feel like what I should do is replay that game show and try to explain it, because I might understand it conceptually, but if I really want to be a mentor to somebody and try to explain these things, if I can't explain it myself, then that means I don't really understand it.
That's true. I've found that, trying to explain things to people or asking my questions out loud, if I'm, beating my head against a wall on a problem and I go and try to explain the problem to somebody, a lot of times what'll happen is halfway through my explanation, I go, "Oh, now I understand." You just had to say it out loud, right? And the other person is like, oh, "Okay, glad I could help." Whatever.
99% of my support problems in previous jobs was asking questions.
Yep.
And they would actually figure out what they did wrong.
I'm just holding the phone.
Okay, glad I could help.
Right. So, and you mentioned earlier that you kind of felt like it wasn't, that you didn't think that you could accomplish things and you were scared of making mistakes or messing it up. I just want to assure all the junior programmers, because I know most junior programmers think that way, that I've been doing this for 25 years, and this week I dorked something up in a production environment and had to scramble to put it back. So I don't care how long you've been doing it, you're going to mess up. So it's, it just happens. Don't be scared of it. It's not likely somebody's going to die because you make a programming mistake.
That's okay. Two things came up for me there. One of the things that I really appreciate is when experienced people talk about their failures, so that it helps me make those failures. The thing that I just remembered is like in my previous job, if I made a mistake, that could be pretty bad.
Yes.
As a pharmacist.
Yeah.
But it's been kind of a mind shift thing here and being able to make those mistakes. I kind of also was raised in a way where maybe making mistakes is like you're not good enough. Not to say like my parents didn't like have, I don't know what you call it. The picture to words thing is happening right now, but yeah, I just kind of grew up thinking like, okay, I can never make mistakes, but I'm really glad that like right now I'm understanding like I should make mistakes, and that is how I'm going to learn. I'll learn better and faster. And I try to instill in my children who I can see that they're afraid of making mistakes, that I'm like, yeah, I make mistakes, so you can make mistakes. And, you know, like grown-ups make mistakes too.
Go fall off your bike. You'll learn how to ride a bike.
Yeah,
You know?
I just like
have fallen off.
I also like to put some kind of guardrails on so that basically, all right, I will let you fall from 2 feet, but if you try to go up 15 feet, I don't want you to fall and hurt something, you know.
Right. Just
Good
as
point.
long as nothing
There's a
blows
way
up
you
or
can
breaks.
sandbox some of those issues.
Yeah. But that's, you know, that's one of the beautiful things about programming is that it's so easy to just put it in a contained environment so that you can play around with it. And if you completely explode something, it doesn't matter. You pull it from Git and start again. You know, nobody's business is going to go under and nobody's going to die. And in fact, if you do it in a virtual machine, you just reload the virtual machine. You could screw it up all day and it won't matter. That's what I do.
Actually, now I'm remembering that something I like doing a lot is just playing around with it. So like juniors might question, what happens if we do XYZ? And then, well, why don't you try it? Like just break the thing that you're doing, like get them into the habit of just whatever you're interested in knowing, do it. If it breaks, that's okay. But yeah, I try to just play around with the terminal or whatever it is and break it.
Yeah, I mean, I was on actually a consulting call today where it was a developer, a senior developer, but they were doing database related things. So it wasn't their 100% skill set or whatever. They're like, well, am I going to do something if I do this? No, you can't hurt it. You're on a replica now where you're messing with things. It's not going to touch the data that's on the primary database. So you can feel free to do whatever you, and then just knowing that they're like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to try to do the, you know.
See what works. Experimentation is one of the best learning methods.
To figure out the best way to do it. Yeah.
And knowing that, hey, if I screw it all up.
I'm sorry, Julie, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say that if you, I don't know, I guess if a junior at work happened to break something that was kind of bad, then I would like to think that maybe that just is a learning experience for the company to like put barriers up in place that could prevent that from happening in the future.
Yeah, like those guardrails. So have guardrails in place such that any particular error is not going to get, you know, too much out of control. So have processes in place so that, I don't know, call them micro failures or whatever is not going to, you know, bring down production or something.
Right. And if you're a company and you don't have those things in place, and then you hire a junior dev and put them in that place, don't get all upset. If something goes bad, that's your fault. You know, I mean, what were you thinking? Come on.
Do you remember there was possibly a junior developer that sent out some email, and I want to say was it HBO? It was like they sent out a email that was like a test email, and people weren't supposed to get that email, but it wasn't like wasn't like a big deal. But in the tech Twitter, I was noticing a lot of people being very supportive of this like scenario, and I was just like, wow, this is so amazing. Like people are basically they're saying like, yeah, it's totally fine that we're making mistakes, and we shouldn't, what is it called, reprimand or blame or anything like that. It is more like a learning experience. But yeah, I don't remember the company.
Chat confirmed it's HBO. And
Okay.
Andrew says, +1 to blame systems, not individuals. And that's true. And I think what you'll find is if you've got good senior developers around you, they'll start looking at ways to fix the system if you do something that breaks something, because like I just said, I still break stuff. So we've all been there, doing this for 25 years. I can't say I haven't broken my share of stuff. I've broken my share of really important stuff. So, it's if you've got good developers with you, good senior developers will start trying to figure out how to fix the system. And if they're really, really good, they'll get the juniors to help them figure out how to fix the system, because the juniors will ask a lot of questions that the seniors won't think to ask. And that's contrary to what a lot of juniors think when I talk to them. Most seniors want you to ask questions because we get jaded and don't think to ask these things. I know how to do that. I don't know. Then when we have to start answering questions that juniors are asking because they just don't know, then we have to look a little harder and pay attention to what we're doing. So it's actually a really good kind of push-pull there for the learning. It goes both ways.
I really appreciate you saying that, because as someone who likes to ask a lot of questions, is also scared to, because I don't want maybe the seniors to feel like I don't know anything. But I guess that's another thing that we should say loudly. Ask questions, and
Yes.
there are no silly questions. And I think it's a win-win. Just as you were mentioning that sometimes you are further away from it and it kind of brings you back into it. Whatever
Right.
it is.
Yeah, it's very helpful. I mean, I still get a lot of stuff because I regularly get on like we use Slack at work, and I'll regularly get on Slack huddles with people, especially junior devs, and talk out a problem or pair program and stuff. And I learn a tremendous amount of technical information by them asking questions. Because even after doing this for 25 years, there is just no possible way for me to keep up with everything that's going on in all the facets of web development. Right? I mean, it's just not possible. There's too much. So having other perspectives there, especially younger perspectives whose their primary thing is to ask questions and learn things, it helps to get the seniors back into, okay, I need to learn some stuff too. They've asked me questions. I don't know. I'll go figure it out so I can answer. Right? Because we don't want to look stupid either. We're supposed to know everything. Don't. I promise. Which is, I keep saying junior programmers and senior programmers. I actually don't like that terminology, though I don't know of a better terminology to get the point across. But it kind of sounds like senior programmers are all, I'm senior, and it shouldn't be like that.
Well, some are, but probably
some
not
are.
the majority.
Yeah. I've never met any Ruby programmers like that, thank goodness. But it's I'd rather have it as more experienced programmers and newer programmers. I don't know. That junior senior terminology just, I don't know, rubs me the wrong way. Maybe that's just me. Hey, Edwin, welcome to the show. Yeah, I mean, it's really important, and most senior programmers will appreciate when juniors get with them, take the time to ask questions, and we want you to learn this stuff, right? Because then we don't have to do all the stuff. You can do some of the stuff. right? So it benefits us to have other people coming up and learning things.
If you like this clip and want to watch another one, you can click right here. Or if you want to watch the full video, you can click here.